And here we are, another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, Barrie is getting a new inclusive playground in Painswick. We'll learn more about it and how it came about. The local Glowing Hearts charity will be making some noise and giving local children and youth some new opportunities thanks to a donation of musical instruments. Forget the WWE. Barrie has its own brand of wrestling. We put the hammerlock on two of its main players. But first, do you like ABBA? Do you have a fan on your Christmas list? ABBA Tribute show AbbaFab will be in Hamilton early in the new year. Barrie native Julia Davies saying I do, I do, I do, I do to the role of one of the A's in ABBA, Agneta.
The show itself has actually been together for 14 years. And I've been in the show, this is my 6th year, but this is my first year as Agneta. I was actually a backing singer for 5 years. I played keyboards and did backing vocals when I first joined. And now I worked my way up and I'm Agneta.
So how does a girl from Barrie, Ontario get a gig like this?
So it's kind of a long story, but I graduated from the Music Industry Arts program at Fanshawe in London. And after I graduated, I was offered a position in Las Vegas at one of the resorts as an audio engineer. And while I was working there, AbbaFab came in to perform, and I ran sound for them. And that's how I met, the members of the show. And actually, my now husband was performing in the show. So that's how we met. And eventually, I moved to Arizona and joined the company and started working with AbbaFab.
So were you a fan of ABBA before all of this, or did you fall into it just because you needed some money?
No, I was an ABBA fan as a child. Actually, my uncle was a big fan of ABBA and had the ABBA Gold album. So whenever I was hanging out with him and playing games or cards or whatever we were doing, we'd have the ABBA Gold album on in the background. So I already, had a love for them, and then it just kind of grew. The more songs I learned of theirs and got to know the band, and as a musician, really appreciating the musicality and, just how good the music is from that point of view as well.
Well, this is the thing. They're catchy tunes. I'm sure it was pretty easy for you to pick them up.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, you can listen to them in the car while you're driving to the grocery store. You can listen to them while you're cleaning the house and just sing along and enjoy it. It's not work having to learn their stuff.
Do you find that it's, because I find people I talk to, they either love ABBA or they hate ABBA. There's no in between.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, what you're into, but there's obviously the big hits that everybody knows, the Dancing Queen, the Mamma Mia, but there's so many great songs that were kind of B-side, songs, deeper cuts that, they hit some rock, they hit some classical influence. They've got so many different things in their music, and I think people just need to find the right song for them. But I mean, it's just so fun. That's what we find. People always tell us, "Oh, it's just so fun. We just love dancing with you," and it makes people happy. For the most part, people just enjoy it to get away for a night. And
is that, do you think, what makes it so enduring to people? It's the catchy tunes. You can dance to them. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's hard not to, whenever it comes on, and especially now with the movies and the stage musical of Mamma Mia. We've got the younger kids that come in and they just want to dance and party, and they don't remember ABBA in their prime, but they know the music and they love it. I think it touches something with everyone.
Have you ever had an opportunity to meet anybody from the band?
No, unfortunately. It would be amazing. I mean, it'd be an absolute honor, but they're kind of untouchable. They're hidden away, working away, doing their thing.
You should probably just send them some complimentary tickets and see if they show up.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be an honor.
Do you have a favorite song in general, number one, and a favorite to perform?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think my favorite ABBA song is a bit of a deeper cut. It's called Lovers Live a Little Longer.
Yep, know it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that rock to it. It's just a really cool song. So I'd say that's my favorite. My favorite to perform, is probably Gimme, Gimme, Gimme. It's just a song that everybody loves. They all recognize that string intro, and everybody dances to that one. It's just such a fun song. So I'd say that's my favorite.
When you're performing, you're obviously dressed like they did when they were performing. How about the audience? Are they coming in ABBA garb? Are they playing the part as well?
Absolutely. It varies audience to audience, the amount of participation, but we definitely get people coming out in full costume. They've got boas. We've had people show up with cardboard cutout faces of the original ABBA members that they wear over their face and sing along with us. We had a lady on a recent tour showed up in a full bodysuit, like a morph suit of the Swedish flag. So we get every level of costuming and participation that you can imagine, and we absolutely love it.
All right, so you'll be in Hamilton January 7th at First Ontario Concert Hall. What can people expect when they show up there?
They can expect just a fun night of dancing, the songs they remember. We really try to connect with our audiences. Our goal is to have the audience leaving loving the show and the music, but also loving the cast and feeling that personal connection where we want people to just come and have fun and really, really enjoy the night and the show. Well,
Agneta, Julia, thanks so much for the time today. Continued success with the show, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 7th.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks to Julia Davies for joining us on What Barrie's Talking About. Keep an eye on the Barrie 360 Daily newsletter for a chance to win tickets to the AbbaFab show, January 7th in Hamilton. Keeping things musical, Barrie-based Glowing Hearts charity has received a $6,000 grant from Musicounts, Canada's music education charity, which believes music can transform the lives of young people. Barrie 360's Will Konken learns more about Glowing Hearts and how the Musicounts money will be used from Glowing Hearts board chair Sarah Fleming.
So to begin, what is your charity? Maybe just give us a little breakdown of it.
Yeah, sure. Glowing Hearts Charity is a grassroots, completely volunteer-run charitable organization in Simcoe County working to disrupt the cycle of poverty by empowering children and youth to realize their full potential. Our programs are all geared toward enabling children and youth in low-income households to access resources and opportunities that would otherwise, have barriers because of finances. So the programs we offer support their growth, confidence, and determination.
What are some of the programs that you offer?
We have programs like Food That Fuels that provide food to children in need when school isn't in session and access to food is more challenging. Things like necessities, hygiene kits, educational supplies through our Backpacks for Youth program, where this year we supported almost 1,200 children across Simcoe County with very backpacks with the supplies they need and lunch kits and water bottles. We have counseling connected with the Reflection Center. We provide assistance for psychoeducational assessments. And then we have other programs, educational-based programs and opportunities like Foundations for the Future, which works on teaching soft skills and entrepreneurship skills. And then, of course, our music programs we just started this fall.
Yes, so let's shift over to that. So what are these instruments, equipment, and resources that you're receiving from Musicounts with their program?
We're very fortunate, and we're granted $6,000 to be able to purchase instruments through the Musicounts TD Community Music Program, and we are really thankful because our goal is to provide that are free of cost for those in low-income households. And we know all of the benefits of a music program, but there are barriers like cost of instruction, cost of instruments, and transportation. So this grant allows us to be able to purchase the instruments so that any of our participants in our programs are able to have the they need to be able to participate. So we have ukuleles that were purchased. We're waiting on guitars to come in, and we also purchased some percussion kits for early music programs, and we have a piano coming along as well, and we'll be working to supplement and purchase more instruments down the road.
What's it mean to have this initiative, the Glowing Hearts charity in Barrie, and helping the people in this community?
You know, one of the things with Glowing Hearts is we really want to fill gaps in services in the community all across County. And so our first program that we've initiated was a beginner ukulele program where 25 children were able to participate, and we used it as a trial to see what will and what won't work best for the population we serve. And we're going to be creating small groups of no more than 12 participants. And it's really, you know, we're working with community partners across Simcoe County to gradually expand our offerings, and being able to help support those organizations is absolutely tremendous. We're going to be, you know, two of the organizations that we are definitely working with, and some others are in the works, are the Georgian Bay Native Friendship Center and the Barrie Native Friendship Center, because, you know, they have told us how important it is to have these opportunities to get kids out of their homes and connected. It means so much to be able to do this.
Glowing Hearts Charity Board Chair Sarah Fleming in conversation with our Will Konken. You can learn more about Glowing Hearts and the work they do at glowingheartscharity.org. What Barrie's Talking About is a weekly podcast featuring the best Barrie has to offer and more. We've covered a lot of ground since we began in mid-July. We've learned to make roasted red-hot chili peppers, Paradise by the Oven Light meatloaf, and Moody Blues berry muffins from the Sex, Drugs, and Pots and Pans cookbook, and how a Barrie police officer and an RVH mental health crisis worker are making a difference with their mobile crisis response team. You can get caught up and make it easy to connect in the future by subscribing to What Barrie's Talking About through any podcast distributor. Still to come on What Barrie's Talking About, wrestling in Barrie. Interest is growing in local grappling, and while there won't be a wrestling ring, there will be a lot of inclusive equipment for kids to play on in a new park being built in the city. Now this.
It's cool to care.
Not sure what to give this holiday season? Give the gift that can't be bought. Give the gift of life by donating blood. Just because the holidays are coming doesn't mean the need for blood goes away. There are over 500 appointments that need to be filled before December 31st. Visit blood.ca and book your appointment today with the Canadian Blood Services. Or take part in our Days of Giving campaign and come into the Barrie Clinic on Bayview Drive until January 3rd and gift the gift of life. While you're there, fill out a ballot to win some great prizes. Sponsored by Cool FM. Blood, it's in you to give.
Cool to Care is brought to you by Mortgage Wellness, answering questions, solving problems, and maximizing your family's cash flow.
It's Cool to Care with 107.5 Cool FM.
This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. It may be on a smaller scale, but the step-over toe holds, forearm smashes, and flying elbows are every bit as real as the WWE when Barrie Wrestling takes to the ring. Barrie 360's Ian McLennan spent some time on the ropes with two of the main players, Corbin Jocelyn, better known as Van Landen, and Diamond Jim Lowe.
Barrie Wrestling itself, how long has it been around? And I know the sport got lots of coverage and a lot of eyes over the summertime when you had some outdoor events.
Yeah, Ian, well, we actually just celebrated our 8th anniversary in November. There had been another organization in Barrie called Power Slam Wrestling Extreme. Current Barrie Wrestling owner Sean Gibson purchased that in 2014. We did a final show under that name in November 2014, and at the end of that show, rechristened ourselves as Barrie Wrestling, and the rest, as they say, is history.
In terms of the sport locally, where do the wrestlers come from? Where's the reach?
Well, we have local heroes like Van Landen, but we pull in a lot of wrestlers from the GTA. We have a regular group of guys who come in from Ottawa, and some of our most popular wrestlers like Puff or Young Jay Lee actually come from Buffalo.
Now, is there a certain level in terms of, I don't know, skill set? That's what maybe the wrong words to use, but in terms of what fans see, or those that want to be fans come out to it, what are they going to see?
It's a really good question, and we sort of have a niche. A lot of indie wrestling organizations will bring in one or two big stars, either from television programs like Impact Wrestling or AEW, and people come out because they know the name. We tend to look at talent that's more building their careers. So, someone like Corbin, who's just a few years into his career, or wrestlers like Von Vertigo, Gabriel Fuerza, who've basically grown up in Barrie wrestling and started very much in the position that Corbin did and are now international stars.
How often is there a wrestling event in Barrie? Do you branch out maybe outside of the Barrie area too?
Yeah, so we tend to run monthly shows at the Ferris Lane Community Church at 49 Ferris Lane in Barrie. We actually have our next one coming up on December 10th. We do a lot of special events throughout the year. So you mentioned summer shows like the Downtown Barrie Canada Day. We were there for 3 days. Kempenfest, we did a bunch of shows this year. We certainly have at times gone outside of the Barrie area, but we've got an amazing fan base here in Barrie and tend to stick fairly close to home.
And Corbin,
yes,
why wrestling?
Well, it started off for me just as a little kid with a dream. As young as I can remember, I've been a fan of professional wrestling. I witnessed it for the first time through my father, who had it on the television for his own enjoyment. And as I was just seeing these larger-than-life personas sort of colliding in the ring, I was like, this is something that I would like to be a part of. These guys are being cheered by thousands of people, being adored, getting their names on video games, action figures, and all things like that really led me to realize, hey, this is something that looks like fun. It's something that, as an athlete, would be challenging in that aspect. And yeah, it just sort of started as a kid with a dream who wanted to make his dream a reality.
Now, you made an interesting comment while we were chatting before the podcast that you kind of compared this to superheroes, but the wrestlers are the real life thing.
Absolutely. So if you wanted to meet Peter Parker, Spider-Man, would you go see Andrew Garfield? Would you go see, some actor? Because that's all they are. They're actors playing characters. With professional wrestling, the wrestler is that person when you meet him, Whether or not they have an alias name, such as myself with Van Landen, they are that person, and you can meet them, you can get their autograph, and you can look up to them or aspire to be like them, whether they're good, bad. Well, it doesn't matter.
It's really quite amazing and rewarding at one of our shows to see how the younger fans in particular, but the fans of all ages, react to a character like a Van Landen, because he's right there and they can meet him at intermission. They can buy an 8x10 that he's going to sign in front of them. They can get their parents to take a picture of him, and especially when they know it's someone local who's out there going toe to toe with these wrestlers from all over Ontario and Quebec and New York. It's really amazing. It's almost it's called sports entertainment for a reason, because it's in some ways a lot like having the Barrie Colts in town and meeting the players, but it's also got a lot of Hollywood in the presentation.
Favorite wrestler growing up?
It's a tough one. Two Canadian brothers. They're pretty well known. Owen and Bret Hart. On any given day, one would be my favorite, but how can you try to just pick one between the two of them? They are Canadian legends, icons, and deserve all the recognition they get.
And I guess I should ask too, what's your best move in the ring? What are you known for?
Fans from all over will know me for my famous airplane spin. It's called the aviation. It's when I pick people up, spin them around, and try to make them throw up. It hasn't happened yet, but we don't know.
And Jim, what about you in terms of a favorite wrestling athlete?
Well, that's a really good question. Obviously I came up in a different era than Corbin, but I always loved Nick Bockwinkel, who was a wrestler in the 70s and early 80s, because he was the thinking man's wrestler, and he could talk anybody through the door with his promos. A little later than that, and probably my favorite to watch in the ring, was the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Barrie Wrestling is holding a Slamily reunion December 10th featuring its women's division. How to get tickets and more about the show on their Facebook page at Barrie Wrestling. Well, isn't this exciting? A new inclusive playground being built in Painswick. It'll host a variety of imaginative and inclusive features, accommodating sensory, physical, and cognitive disabilities, enabling kids of all abilities to play side by side. Here again is Will Konken getting the whys and hows from Ward 9 Councillor Sergio Morales.
I'm pretty excited today. Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities, known to the public as Jumpstart, has announced that they're going to build the largest inclusive playground that they've ever built in Canada, and they're going to build it in Barrie's very own Ward 9.
How was Barrie chosen for the playground? Did the city contact Canadian Tire, or did they reach out to the city?
It's no secret that Barrie is one of the largest, the fastest growing communities in Ontario. So I think there was an opportunity for Jumpstart to put this great accessible park in a location where it's going to be used, not just for now, but for the decades to come as Barrie continues to grow. And the area that made the most sense in the city of Barrie was Painswick Park there at the corner of Ward 9 and Ward 10.
What's this mean for the community and those who maybe can't play on a regular playground?
It means that they have an opportunity to do what many of us take for granted. This isn't just about building the biggest and shiniest park. This was about building a park that met accessibility standards for mobility, for other play features of people who might have other limitations. So this is truly a park for all ages. And obviously, the better you design a park, the more it's used, and then that's when you kind of really have succeeded at that point.
When is the completion date?
We're aiming at having a fall 2023 completion.
Are there any other upgrades coming to Painswick Park?
Yes. The City of Barrie had already committed to redevelop Painswick Park by adding 8 new pickleball courts with new lighting, to expand some of the parking area, to build a shade structure, extend the lighting of walkways, as well as relocating the baseball diamond and making it basically a much better, more usable baseball diamond. So this builds on the investments that the City of Barrie had already committed to earlier this summer.
With the inclusive playground and these other additions, do you know how much total funding is coming into all of it for these additions?
The investment that Jumpstart made was $1.9 million, in addition to the over $1 million commitment the city already made.
Thanks very much, Sergio, and pleasure to connect with you. Hopefully we'll chat some more another time.
Great. Take care, Will.
As Councillor Morales said, they're hoping to have the playground ready for the kids by next summer. And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Will Konken and Ian McLennan for their input, and to Matt Ladder for piecing it all together. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Facebook and Twitter at Barrie360, and on our website, Barrie360.com. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.